The current price of Synthetix looks like a good price point to start DCAing into this project. Some might even consider it an absolute steal. Welcome back to Bearman Crypto, where we talk all things crypto. So in today's video, I just want to cover Synthetix, which is one of the OGs of the DeFi um, the DeFi tokens. This specific token has been around since 2018. So it launched in 2018 at an ICO price of 67 cents. You can see here it was launched. The ICO actually happened on TokenSoft. It's got some good backing in terms of some of the early funding rounds that they had. They had Coinbase Ventures, they had Paradigm, they've got this one, IOSG. So this is definitely one which, has been around for a long time, and a lot of people were expecting this to do absolutely amazing things in the last bull cycle, and it kind of just didn't really take off. So what is exactly Synthetix? So Synthetix effectively specializes in creating synthetic assets. And the assets that they create are referred to as synths. So assets such as maybe they've got basically synthetic version of BTC, a synthetic version of ETH. It's basically any type of asset, so they can turn that into a synthetic asset, which is basically in the background, it is pegged to the actual real asset, but this is just to enable other people to enter the market that might not necessarily be able to afford the actual asset itself. So here you can see some of the ones that they currently have. You got ETH, you got SBTC, Link, Sol, AVAX, Matic, Aave, Uni. So they've got quite a few that are already live in the system. And really what Synthetix are looking to do is basically roll that out into wider, bigger, real life assets. So if you think of stuff such as stocks, commodities, that type of thing. So really broaden in terms of what type of assets they can basically go for. If you think of it, it's a little bit like the derivatives market. Basically, it works. The mechanism works a bit like that. The actual process to create synths is it's not a very straightforward process. It's a little bit complicated. They actually have a bit of information on their website in terms of if you're interested specifically in staking. They've basically got a how-to guide. It's very detailed. And they've also got detailed explanations in terms of how, if you're interested in minting some synths on any specific assets, how you'd go about minting such synthetic assets. So basically, they've been around since 2018. They've done various things. They've launched various synthetic assets, but they never really took off. They've always operated always as a business to consumer model, so a B2C model. And the trouble that they've really faced with that is liquidity providers have not necessarily been incentivized very well in terms of from a staking perspective. The staking hasn't incentivized people to provide liquidity, and therefore building more assets, synthetic assets, has always seemed to have been a challenge for Synthetix. But I think that is really all about to change with the V3 that they'll be bringing out soon enough. And that V3 basically solves some of the problems that they've been having around liquidity and incentivizing liquidity providers. And basically, what they're looking to do is basically open up Synthetix more protocols to start building on Synthetix and generating their own synthetic assets. So some of the protocols that they've really started working with, you can see here, you got Quenta, you got Lyra, you got I think it's pronounced Tails, and I think there's probably a whole host of other specific protocols that are going to be jumping on this bandwagon. And this is what the ecosystem looks like in terms of the platform, which basically utilize Synthetix. You got 1inch Curve, D-Hedge, Yearn Finance. So it's something that is definitely growing, and I think this V3 is something that I think will be potentially a game changer for Synthetix, and it will drive more liquidity. And as really they'll be moving from a B2C to a B2B model, and I think that will generate a lot more liquidity into the specific market. And if you think about it, for a bit of context, the actual if you think about the derivatives market, that is worth over $1 quadrillion. So that is, imagine even a small percentage of that entering into this space will make absolutely a massive difference. And I think Synthetix is going to be potentially one of those that will be the winners when this definitely takes off. You can see here are just on CoinGecko in terms of the actual price. So at the moment, Synthetix is ranked number 74. In terms of circulating supply, they've got just over 240 million tokens. You've got a total max supply of 312 million there. And just when you look at the price, see, so if you think about when the peak of the last bull run was, it never really reached the heights that it could have potentially done in that bull market. And really the price has been suppressed, and that's been mainly to the challenges that they've had around liquidity and getting people incentivized to use the network. You can see one of the interesting things with most tokens, when you look at them now, they are probably 80-90% down. Synthetix is only about 38% down. That's because the price never really pumped that much in the last year. So I think given where the price is at the moment, this could potentially be a good accumulation point. In my opinion, of course, this is a potential. I'm looking at this as a 20 to 30x, not financial advice, of course. Just my thoughts in terms of where SNX could potentially be headed. And if you look at on TradingView, if you're thinking about this from a short-term perspective, where am I looking at? What sort of price points am I looking to get in at? So at the moment, the price is around about 240. I'm up with the SNX that I'm buying. I'm looking to make for this to make its way up to about this $4 mark. That's where I see the price pumping in the short term. Of course, I'm holding mine long term, but in the short term, if you're looking for any sort of swing trades, I'll be looking at this price to pump to about between the 350 and $4 region in the short term. Long term, of course, this is definitely one that will do a 20 to 30x. But again, just my opinion, of course. And that's all I want to share with you in this video. If you enjoy that content, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And if you've enjoyed this content, make sure to tickle that like button. But that's all I want to share with you, and I will see you in my next video.